Goodness gracious, look at the time. It's time for some Chinese Dota here in the Dota Pro Circuit, brought to you by Perfect World. My name is Nomad, and joining me on the panel today to get into today's series, we of course have Lizard and Black. What a beautiful, manly panel we have to get us through the day. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Goodness gracious, we're doing fine. Hyped for the second series of the week.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What do you think, Black? Is anything going to change? Are we going to see an upset? Is it going to be the same like yesterday?
I mean, to be fair, IG is less likely to lose to a team that we thought they can't lose to than Aster. I feel like they're more stable. And also between MagMa and LBZS, I think MagMa is the stronger team that could potentially cause some problems for higher skilled teams.
I like your shirt, by the way, Nomad. Looking dope.
Thank you, thank you. You know, a bit of brightness, a bit of beach. You know, not many of us are getting out right now, so I thought I'd bring a bit of the ocean to our viewers. You know,
very thoughtful of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, it's a slightly higher % chance for an upset today, but still pretty low, because that's the game we got. Aster versus MagMa, and
yesterday 5%, 2%.
Yeah,
Today
yesterday very low, very low. Today maybe a little bit higher, like Black just said, because you can see these two teams. For some reason, I'm waking up way too early, and around 7,
What's the
8
reason?
a.m.
You don't know the reason?
I go to sleep early as well, and I just watched Dota in the morning. I watched some Chinese Dota. There was Witchy Gaming this morning as well, but there's a couple of leagues. There's the FDC league happening right now as well, tournament, and in which MagMa is also playing. They've played 3 series in the last couple of days. They've lost all of them, but they did show some performance at least. They took a game off of eHome, so that's something, right?
yeah, definitely.
If you can take the game off of eHome, I'm not saying that you're there to take a game off of Aster as well, but
There's chances.
Yeah, you have chances.
Very different teams right now. Let's give you guys some context and throw up that all-important standings to see where all the teams are sitting right now. And as you can see, the two teams we've got playing today, Team Aster is currently tied for second with Vici Gaming. Technically, they are third. And then we also have Team MagMa playing up against them, and they are the second to bottom team right now. So MagMa not in a good place at all. And a win here would be pretty big for them. Obviously, you know, they're fighting against relegation. They want to try and get above eHome. That will be their goal. They can possibly make that happen, but today might not be where that win comes from. It's pretty tough. Meanwhile, Aster are hungry. They've been beaten. They were at the top with IG, and then we had them lose to Vici Gaming.
Vici crushed them.
Yeah, they really did. So you know, this is an angry Team Aster looking to get some money back, and poor old MagMa, I'm kind of afraid they're going to be the punching bag.
It's possible, but if anything, the series against VG exposed quite a lot of weaknesses from Team Aster, which probably is a good thing for them. You know, that they get exposed right before the IG series, so they can, you know, just make sure they shapen up, because they didn't look very. They didn't look like the unbeatable Aster from before. You know?
Yeah,
but it was mostly due to drafts, right? Like
Sure.
they had 2 series in which, like they were heavily outdrafted. They struggled to find the right response to the whole enemy draft of Vici Gaming, and then they muster up with that last pick, Arkworden, which was a good last pick, but overall the draft didn't have nearly as much synergy as Vici Gaming's. Then in the second game, it's a very similar story. So this time around, we'll see how they draft against MagMa. I don't think that MagMa will be able to exploit them as much as Vici Gaming for those flaws in the draft.
No, I mean, for MagMa, we have said a few times, you know, the drafts are okay, but there's nothing really special, you know. I think the thing we've said the most about MagMa and LBZS is that they're good teams, but they're not great teams. And, you know, the other top 5 at the very least, you know, eHome's still a bit of a maybe, but the top 5 in the Chinese region, they are great teams. Like, put them in any of the lower down regions, and they would most likely smash. And that's like no discredit to the other regions, but the credit to how strong China is. They have been playing so much Dota.
Yeah, we have seen that. LBZS played versus Neon a couple of days back, and they
crushed them 2-0.
Crushed them 2-0.
One of the worst teams of the Chinese league. Crushed one of the major attending teams of the Southeast Asia League. I mean, you know, upsets do happen, but at the same time, it is a testament to how strong this region really is. Let's talk about the teams individually then. Who would you like to start with, Black?
I mean, let's just talk about MagMa and where their chances possibly lie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if they were to win, individually they're all very good, but I do think that it will be on the back of Dust, who has been, for me at least, the star player of MagMa. he usually doesn't really lose his lane. He does quite well in lane, and if he can transition that maybe into a strong mid game on a hero like maybe Death Prophet, that can take over games, I can see a realistic chance for them beating Team Aster.
Yeah, and the game that they actually did win versus eHome, they were playing that exact hero. They were playing that Prophet off of the mid lane, but there was something way more interesting than the Dead Prophet in the game. They picked something that we don't see anywhere. It's the Lone Druid. They picked the Lone Druid and they won with it. So maybe some flex, maybe some interesting pick that could go their way, because if you think about it, that Prophet plus Lone, that's a scary combination.
I mean, Liquid is the other team that plays it on Koikwa, of course, from Europe. And it's pretty much first 2 banned every game, because it's a scary hero if you're a master at it. Might be scary.
When they were even before they were Alliance, when I played against them, we would ban Lone Druid. That's like 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Like they just don't change. They're banned. Like you always know that you need to get rid of that Mickey Morphling, Koikwa, Lone Druid, perhaps Brood if Brood is in the pool. If in the meta, same with Taiga's Dark Willow. It's just a team that you have to really prepare your drafts for. Respect ban them,
Yeah, and unfortunately you've only got 2 of those bans in the first phase. You've got to let something through, but yeah, MagMa, so I mean there's a possibility of that. I mean, they played a bunch of other strange stuff as well. The Arc Warden is something they like to play around with sometimes also, and generally speaking, like they're a slightly more adaptable team than LBZS, and I think that's why they managed to get the best of them in their series against each other, and possibly MagMa could be threatening eHome. We'll see that series. That's going to be interesting, but let's have a little talk about Aster, because obviously, as we mentioned, they have just dropped a series against Team Vici. They're going to be mad. They're going to be looking to come back into this tournament with a punch, and unfortunately, MagMa are going to be on the receiving end of that one. But what are their weaknesses, and what did we see in that series versus Vici, which Vici were able to get the better of them about?
It was mostly, I mean, the games that they did lose against Vici were mostly draft-based. Like, play-wise, you couldn't really see too many errors. I think they did quite well in the games when it comes to just pure gameplay, but they were just at such a disadvantage from a drafting stage that if teams are evenly matched, the team with the better draft is usually going to end up winning, and that's what happened in the VG series.
It was also very easy executed draft for Vici Gaming, right? Like if you remember that series, they had Mars, Phoenix, Medusa Puck or something like that.
They all press R, and then they win the fight.
Yeah, pretty much. You just had it very easily, and one Arc Warden, he's not sufficient. Like versus the Medusa alone, yes, definitely, it's a good pick, but overall the strategy was just much better from Vici Gaming. However, that's a 1 day off for Aster. Every single other series that we watched from them, they've performed exceptionally well and drafted exceptionally well too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been one of the leading teams, not just when it comes to score, but also when it comes to drafting and determining the meta. You know, a lot of teams have been watching them, following them, and trying to recreate what they do, which is obviously a huge point of respect you need to have for this team coming into it. So let's have a look at the head-to-heads and have a look at those winning timings to see exactly when these two teams close out their games. And as you can see, unfortunately for MagMa, you know, winning has been a rare resource for them, but when it comes to that super late game, they have managed to grab a couple. Meanwhile, Aster, not super strong when it comes to these very hyper-aggressive lineups, but definitely playing these more kind of standard 4-Protect 1-ish style lineups where they can kind of close out the game eventually. Just very methodical from Aster. That's definitely the word I would use to describe their gameplay.
Yeah, Aster for me is a little bit of a weird team. Monet, when he plays these like super hard carries, Arc Warden, Naga, he doesn't seem very comfortable like at all. But if they play like really aggressive late gamers, like what is he really good at?
Raid King, Jug, whatever.
Medusa. It's weird because like you wouldn't really expect that to happen. You know, like why can you play some of them, but when you play others, you suddenly just turn into this space absorbing.
Yeah, but we watched one Naga game, right?
But one Naga game, but then Arc Warden was the same story.
Yeah.
Like he really didn't try to join too much fights. The ones that he did join, he kind of felt like that weight.
He actually, I can completely agree with you because now, obviously you can't remember every single game, but now when we're talking about his Arc Warden, I remember specifically a couple of moments watching a game and saying he's dead, like 15 seconds before he even dies, and he doesn't move from that position.
Yeah,
with
he just
the
keeps
main.
fighting.
He just keeps fighting with his clone, trying. They're with some of these heroes, there's. It's strange to say for a player of such caliber, but it feels like they're not fully in his comfort zone.
And it feels like there's a theme to it too, like the heroes that you have to control multiple units, you know.
Yep.
Naga Siren, Arc Warden.
Maybe
we have some micro problems there, you know. Of course, I don't know him very well, but he does really well on heroes that gameplay is simplified.
Let's defocus from the safe lane and instead focus in on the mid lane, because I want to pick up on something you mentioned earlier when you said that Dust needs to have a good game in order for MagMa to really perform. And we could probably say the same thing about White Album. So I want to have a look at these two players in a vacuum and see exactly how they come up in a head-to-head comparison.
You'll probably see that Prophet being contested in this series quite a bit, and because of that, we will see the resurgence of Shadow Fiend as well. Because we've seen White Album pick up that Shadow Fiend earlier in one of the series versus DP, do extremely well, and teams have followed suit. They tried to recreate the same scenario, pick the SF into the DP. We'll see. What do you guys think about Alchemist, by the way? I feel like meta is shaping now in a different direction, in this weird direction in which Alchemist is picked offlane many times, right? In many series, yesterday as well. What do you think? Will this series be shaped around him or not?
I'd be very surprised. So, I mean, because IG were playing it, I would assume Aster are going to be playing it as well, because there's no way there's like that big of a discrepancy where one team is first phasing it and the other top team is not. So I reckon they're either going to be picking it or banning it on Aster. I think there's a potential for MagMa to just completely ignore it, but that's only really going off what we saw yesterday, to be honest.
So it's a tough hero, really. Like, I think a team like Aster can definitely pull it off, but a team like MagMa, I think it's too risky for them to play.
It's same like yesterday, so in the series. It's funny because I remembered a long time ago as well, one of the counters to the Alchemist that was being picked, or one of the play styles was having an Enchantress in the enemy jungle, constantly pressuring the camps, or having a Bounty Hunter just mess while he's trying to farm those stacks, mess with him, right? So maybe that's something that we'll see once again. Some of these heroes pop into the meta just because of the Alchemist. Even though Ench is played in NA, I believe, though. Hello? Yeah.
We liked your shoes.
Myra in my shoes, I know, man, yeah.
Very nice,
Pretty
very nice. Well, talking about hero picks, we can have a look at the hero pools of the two teams in a lovely Venn diagram. Yes, that's right. We've got all the diagrams coming out today. And here we can see what's mostly contested by the two teams. We're looking at the Phoenixes, we're looking at the Abaddons, we're looking at the Nyxes, and we're looking at the Marses, of course, throughout the DPC. No big surprise here. I wouldn't really say the Phoenix and Mars and earlier on, the Nyx, Assassin, and Abaddon have been very, very highly contested by pretty much every team, so nothing too special in the middle there. Maybe around the outside we see something more interesting. Aster not really playing the Tusks so much, which does surprise me, considering Baboka is a very, very good Tusk player.
Yeah, the hero pools for Aster there, like you can see that it's a lot more defensive, like a Wyvern, Shaker, you know, even Monkey King, Wraith King, these heroes that really just set up Monet for success. With MagMa, I mean, they're pretty much all over the place. They pick some defensive heroes, some really aggressive heroes. Like, I don't think they have a very defined style yet at all that they feel very comfortable with, which also then means that their drafts are pretty much all over the place.
They do play a lot of Tusk. Like that's that's something that I could a parallel that I could draw between LBZS and MagMa is they like these position 4s that don't really take a lot of space, and I think that's probably the best way to. If you're an upcoming team. Having less greed on a position 4 it just feels easier to play.
It's very hybrid too, right? You can be very aggressive, but you can also save a snowball. You can set up for ganks and stuff. It's a good hero.
Yeah, multifaceted hero, that's for sure. But we are into the draft of game number 1 between MagMa and Aster. And we're going to start things off with an IO pick for Aster. Not something we've seen them do recently, I don't think.
Yeah, they pick up the IO. Speaking of bans, Tusk and Shadow Shaman for Aster. Team MagMa banning out the Alchemist that we talked about. And the Enigma. Enigma Team Aster played in the last series versus Vici Gaming, but IO, it's a hero that you just have to know how to play on position 4 and 1, and you need to practice it, I believe, for the upcoming major. If nothing changes, he should be highly contested, and if you open Anna's Dota buff, you'll see that he is back to playing pubs. unranked with his friends.
He always plays unranked. Yeah. I
Right.
mean, even
Sounds
before TI, he
exactly,
played unranked.
exactly.
Yeah, I found it so funny when he played one game and there was a Reddit front page post about it, like, he's back. It's like, guys, it's one game, but
He's back.
you know, a legend like that, all he needs is one game to get people hyped. But yeah, I find it very interesting how Aster have targeted MagMa here, because these are two of his favorite heroes in the Shaman and the Tusk, and they just take them both out of the pool. A lot of respect.
I mean, he is the playmaker of the team, so it makes a lot of sense. And they just want to make him feel as uncomfortable as possible.
I don't like the Lion pick into IO that much. Like,
It's not
instantly.
good against it, really.
Yeah.
Like, IO is all about sustaining and healing that burst damage that comes in. Once you have a mech, that Finger of Death does nothing.
It's not only that. You just die to the Spirit Pulse. You just die to them.
Yeah, if it's a
Lion,
core IO,
yeah.
sure. you
IO
die
is so
very easily.
strange as a
Li-
core, because like you just kind of die in his vicinity.
If
and-
you're Lion, it's very difficult to move around. But they did pick Puck into the Lion afterwards, which is
Interesting.
yeah. Usually we consider Lion and Shadow Shaman to be these two heroes that came back into the meta to punish Pucks and Spirits, right? And
At least it can go both ways.
Yeah.
Because if you get on top of the line with the silence, then he's like, oh, damn, I'm just a lion. And he's probably just going to die. But are we going to see a core IO?
it looks like we might see a core Puck at least as
Yeah.
TA is banned out.
Core IO? It's the same concept as a DP, really. Like, you just deal a lot of, I like to call it passive damage. Just with your presence, you kill people. Like, these kind of heroes, I feel, are very, very strong right now. And are there any more other than IO and DP? I guess Wraithing with Radiance, maybe?
Radiance, Lone Druid with Radiance as well, with his bear running around, I suppose.
Like heroes that just passively kill are so hard to deal with. Because like, you need to burst them down, but it's so hard because they
Necro.
keep moving.
Yep.
Like, they never
They just want
stand
to stay
there and hit.
still.
Yeah. Like, you're
It's
like
like this guy
a
doesn't want to die.
Monkey King or something, you have to hit people, right?
Yeah.
But if you're an IO, you just fly
By the way, I
around.
believe Necro is still the only hero unpicked in every single region. In
Necro.
the DPC, yeah, Necro.
Yeah,
first.
it's
And yet
just
Lacoste,
scary
every
to pick.
single game, I swear, he's just like, they should pick Necro here. Damn it, Lacoste.
It's just Vessel, Shivas, Skadi.
Too much.
It's too much for him.
Yeah.
And you don't want BKB on that hero.
Wait, people picked
he's-
Spectre.
No, not
No.
necessarily.
Good.
A banned out, by the way, by Team Aster, so they're securing that IO combination a little bit more. Meanwhile, Team MagMa with Ursa and the Monkey to protect the Timber Saw on that offlane. And the Shadow Demon, just a Shadow Demon, just a nice little save right there.
And it's a DP.
Team Aster Shadow Fiend, Puck position for Borax coming through.
I mean, SF would make a lot of
very
sense
Possibly.
with IO as well. Next Assassin.
Okay.
Oh,
Also
okay.
owns Timber and DP.
Yeah, not a hugely popular hero as of recent. He has fallen off quite significantly compared to what his popularity was early on in the DPC.
Yeah, it's not about that break versus Timber, really. It never was, because usually Timber already accumulates his armor, right? And if you hit him with Nyx, it doesn't truly matter that much. It's all about the mana break and the stuns.
Interestingly, through Division 1 and 2, he has actually been pick banned 9 times. But that's 1 pick and 8 bans, so...
Yeah. Gyrocopter. Okay, so it's a
Ooh.
5 IO then.
Okay.
5 IO.
Looks
Gyro.
that way, yeah.
And then Puck.
The IO Copter comes out from
Or
Aster.
Puck could be offlane still. Because I don't like the Puck DP matchup too much for Puck. It's just always a losing matchup. And dude, I have seen this Nyx Assassins. They just skill max mana burn at minute 8. And the DP, here's a DP, Timber, so they just die. Like, they just do nothing in fights anymore. You get mana burn 3 times, you're done.
So the Spirit
Good.
Breaker is about trying to pin down the IO and the
Yeah.
Nyx Assassin, right?
Yeah.
All right.
In the draft analysis also.
Mm-hmm.
And we just see DP. It just does everything. Except stuns. Except stuns.
Yeah,
and
that-
Gyro on the other side.
So on the left-hand side, we have the stats for Team MagMa. On the right-hand side, we have the stats for Team Aster, and it is color-coordinated to the heroes they picked, which you can see at the top. And as you can see, DP taking up a very large space in everything except stuns, as you mentioned, Blair.
Gyrocopter even in stuns though.
Yeah,
they have a bit more stuns on the side of Team MagMa. You have the Line and the Spirit Breaker on the side of Aster. You've got your Nyx Assassin. Puck really, he contributes, but he needs that ulti.
I mean, Puck
Yes.
really is just, he's just there to annoy people. You know, he doesn't really do too much by himself. He just locks people into place.
Batrider.
Bad Rider.
Ad Rider.
That's
is the
versus the
final.
Timber as well, right? Like you get a
Yeah.
hero that's actually able to deal with the Timber Saw.
It's not the, I mean, they still have a pick to counter the Bad Rider. He can't go middle against the DP, it makes no sense. DP owns that matchup. And if you get Sarkon on the safe lane now,
Yeah, it's the
gonna be
next
tough.
plus. Yeah, you're
So
right.
what heroes are we expecting to come out then for MagMa to hard counter him?
I
Maybe the
would
Slark?
love actually to see a Phantom Lancer. With this new hard,
Ooh.
Phantom Lancer is almost immune to gyrocopter damage. And they just have no damage overall in that lineup.
Does look to be a concern. Maybe Team MagMa can take advantage of that.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, they don't have a lot of damage. Like Puck, IO,
It's
support,
also the problem
Nyx
of
Assassin.
Nyx. Yeah.
Gyro
Yeah.
is everything. He really is everything for this.
Gyro
Aster
is the
draft.
whole damage, yeah. Like you
Yeah.
coil 5 people, where's the damage going to come from?
Yeah,
Gyrocopter.
the thing is, what their draft does truly have an abundance of are catch
Sure.
and relocate onto that catch, right? Like
Yeah.
you have the Nyx, you have the Puck, you have the Bat, and then you have relocate with the Gyro. But it doesn't feel that great in team fights. I'm 100% agreeing with that.
I mean, there's a potential for Slark too. Slark is really damn good this game. Owns pretty much all
What's
the
my
heroes.
suggestion, sir?
Puck also hates playing against Slark. You can't really coil him ever.
Or Ursa, just pick Ursa, get on top of
He's banned.
Gyro.
Ursa's
He's
banned.
banned,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's banned. Oh, my bad.
It's banned because of the Timber earlier, so
Oh,
I like
yeah.
the PL. Actually, PL looks like one of those heroes. Not Troll.
Troll.
Slark.
I mean, that's the hero I like the least actually from those carries.
Still
It's
decent
actually one of the
versus
heroes
Bat.
that can suffer against Bad Rider though.
In the lane, he's still alright, isn't he? After all the nerfs to
Yeah, I
Bat
mean, he's probably
Rider.
alright. It's just one of the heroes that can actually potentially struggle.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
Slark PL is just free. 100% free.
We've seen this so much, like teams just being like weighing out their options, then just defaulting to this Troll. I mean, why?
I mean,
But
Troll
guess it's
is-
not the time to ask
He's
why.
a very legit hero, for sure. A very strong hero. A Battle Trance. It's just one spell that can just turn around team fights, you know? So it makes sense. It's a very stable hero. It's just
Yeah.
not my go-to choice in this kind of scenario.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I have a feeling I know the answer, gents, but can I get your predictions for game number 1?
Team MagMa.
Whoa!
Nah, I'm going with Team Aster. Team MagMa. They have a very solid draft overall. It looks all right. Have I been sold with this Troll Warlord last pick? There are reasons why. It's still a decent laner with the shape that Bat Rider is in right now, but I mean, if the drafts were reversed, I'd still go with Team Aster. Like, it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, no, but if I didn't know who was playing, I would probably actually go with MagMa's draft.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's just Aster there. Just too solid all around.
Yeah, Iocopter makes a return, but I'm going to go with Aster as well. Yeah, it's too hard to vote against them. I don't know. Have we got any lunatics in the casting studio today? Well, we do. But either of those lunatics going to be voting for Team MagMa? Let's find out as we bring in Lacoste and Beacop. Guys, what are we saying?
What a surprise. Everyone just going with Aster.
Yeah.
How nice of you guys. Here you go, a clap. MagMa, they have a really good draft. I would
Toxicity.
say they won the draft, so this game at least might be closer than what we think. You know, still leaning towards the Aster because of their performances and everything, but MagMa...
Clap back at him.
back.
Good job,
Yeah.
good job.
All right,
Great.
Beacop, nice and quick from you as the game is now live.
Yeah, I'll just go with Aster. I
All
think
right.
it's pretty.
It's
All right, let's get into game number 1 of Aster versus MagMa with Beacop and Lacoste. Gentlemen, take it away.
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much. Coming into this game number 1, look at this. Almost had a fight there. You guys would have been telling the truth this time, panel, if you said they had smoked up, tried to fight, tried to trick us into giving a quick prediction.
The panel always lying to us, you know, 5-man smoke, sit down straight away,
30
check what's
seconds to
happening.
battle.
Look at my boy Spirit Breaker. Boots of speed and 1 tango. He's ready to go.
And that's your 5. That's your 5 Spirit Breaker. 1 tango, boots. Greed.
Yeah, great,
Just straight greed.
great way to deal damage in the lane trade with the enemy support. Let's see if they're gonna fall for this trap.
Ooh, Borax.
The battle
Thinking
begins.
about it. He saw the timber. They backed out. They let those bounties go. Aster, though, they got the 2 bottom bounties, so they're okay with that. 2 for 2. Don't have to lose your life. Don't have to enable this Spirit Breaker that went with 1 tango. Works out fine.
Yeah, all good. I mean, he's gonna bring extra region, has enough gold to buy 1 set of tangos. Could be a bit problematic, you know, playing into next Bat Rider. I think he's gonna be able to achieve much, even though Troll is a strong laner, so whoever is paired up with the Troll should do fine. Problem is, it's like Troll into Batrider, something that Batrider really shines to play into. So it should be overall a really good Batrider game against the Timbersaw, against the Troll. Looks really, really good. And the top lane, sorry, Beakup, I know you wanted to ask something, but I just want to talk about the Gyrocopter against the Timbersaw. He's like very vulnerable to any kind of magical burst damage until he gets like a casual cloak or a hood online. Definitely a good hood game against all the heroes that they're playing into, but overall, Gyro very good. Now, Beakup, your turn. Ask me something, I'll give you an answer.
Oh, can I ask
What's
anything?
my favorite color? No.
Oh, all right.
It has to be Dota related.
What's my favorite Dota color?
Purple.
It's red. But yeah, so this would be
Close.
a more one-sided lane if Batrider didn't get nerfed, though, right? Like back before the nerfs, it would feel a little bit better for him.
For sure, yeah. That's how it works. You nerf a hero, he doesn't do as well as he did before. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm asking the simple questions. But to go on that, do you think that, like, why is there so much, I don't know, I don't want to say stubbornness to still pick Batrider even though he's been, you know, banged up in terms of nerfs?
Because Batrider is still a BKB piercing ability. You just need to survive. Like, his laning stage got nerfed, and I don't think it matters that much when he's not in the mid lane. When he's paired up with another hero on the side lane,
Right.
You're not going to feel that much of an influence from those nerfs.
Okay. That was the only question I've got. I think I've run out of question ideas
Ran
for
out of
right
questions? All right. So let's just have a normal conversation about Dota. TZY on the top lane on Timbersaw, doing extremely well. Like, he's not really threatened that much until they get the levels, but there's also this annoying hero called Lion, which became really popular to zone out certain heroes. He's a strong laner, good attack animation, and just the mana drain. Like, you can see Monet already being out of mana on Gyrocopter, so you can't kill this Timbersaw. That's going to be a huge problem, something that I did not look into. I forgot about Lion.
Yeah, usually you don't see Lion just able to kind of stand there and mana drain, though. It feels like sometimes he would
IO
get
can't
pressure.
stop it, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you have a stun, you threaten a kill, and there it is. Like, Monet, I'll better use my mana right now, because I will not have it.
Yeah, they're going to try and
Going
run
in.
up on him. Rocket Barrage used
Still
onto
has a fairy
yeah.
fire.
They have a lot of damage, though. They might just dive the tower and get the kill. So even though he's been using that mana drain, they've realized they can't kill the Timber. Might as well just go for the Lion. Take my mana, I'll take your life.
Interesting move. Like, I definitely thought Lion's not going to die there. Maybe, you know, a move from the Timbersaw, try to threaten, not necessarily like a kill, but maybe deal some damage
Right.
with the Timber Chain. Block off, share some of the damage from the Rocket Barrage. Could potentially save Lion there.
Yeah, I felt like there was no angle for TZY to want to go in and try and mitigate that damage.
4-minute rune. Nyx Assassin picks up double damage. This is one of the funniest things in Dota when you have 6 heroes mid. 4 minutes in.
It's always a party. But that's the good thing about Spirit Breaker. He could TP back to base, charge out to lane. You know, the TP being on cooldown is not the worst thing in the world for him in terms of, like, you know, you see sometimes heroes TP back, they die, and they have to make the walk of shame, which is always a bad time. Shylock, he's doing all right. Not at the top of the CS, but he's sitting right there, even with Puck, even with the Death Prophet. Like, he's enjoying his time, and I think the one thing that we've noticed from Shylock is he does lane all right.
Yeah,
But afterwards, it's a struggle.
what I was about to say, you know, Shylock laning stage throughout this DPC season has been great, but then some like decision making post 10-15 minute mark, what he needs to do, especially on the Terrorblade, on the Lycan. I remember that game with Lycan where he pops the ulti, doesn't see an enemy hero, and then runs in, tries to find him, which
Yeah.
was something that I've not seen before. It's a very hard for like inexperienced safe laner carry players to actually know, like this is the biggest problem, like when to join a fight or when to farm, because if you don't join a fight, your team might lack damage, and then it feels like you're playing 4 versus 5, but if you join, you die. You feel like you wasted so much, actually.
You know, dying, losing that gold, losing that time that could be potentially spent farming. Or you do what he's done, you join the fight, and then you just run around. So you're not dying, you're just kind of observing. It just doesn't feel like you're adding much of anything, and that could be frustrating in itself when you can't find an opening. And you all of a sudden feel very frustrated in the fact that you think you have enough to participate, but
yeah, we've seen throughout the Dota history a lot of players, really carry players, struggling with that, being top-notch in terms of skill, like spell casting, but the decision-making wise, when you don't know where to go with your hero or how to use your power spikes, like you're just gonna feel mediocre.
Yeah, and it's something that I think these teams like MagMa and LBZS, a couple of the lower division teams, are hopefully figuring out with a couple of their carries, or even anybody on the team. When is the right moment for me to be involved, and how in these situations can I be involved? Because we've seen it a lot with the cores from you know, some of these teams that are lower in the standings, like LBZS yesterday. It was a little bit tough with X, who was playing the mid. He struggled a little bit, but over mid, we've got ourselves the charge as well as the stun coming in from Yam, Lanham popping that spike carapace and just walking away from an exorcism and 3 heroes.
It's still gonna be a lot of tower damage. Glyph used by Aster. They need to bring numbers. Like Lanham is not that hero to actually be able to stop this push. All he can offer pretty much is Impale. There's the Batrider rotation plus a puck coil.
Yeah, they have the Dream Coil. They just don't have a lasso to follow this up right now. XSS only level 5.
Zoning coil.
And
Tower will still go down.
Backing up and
They
bottling
get the
Nimbus,
deny.
and that's it.
That's something. Problem is right now Aster does not have enough damage. Like, look at their supports. Io does not provide you with any kind of damage. Next Assassin as a position 5, you know, damage is pretty low. Top lane.
Ooh, Monet getting run down. Homing missile stops TZY. They've got the tether back to the gyrocopter. All will be okay for now. Going Trent's Maelstrom so far on this gyro. Borax, he's got the 2 Sages mask, has an early headdress, a wand, and going into the urn early on. And then while we talk about that combo, TZY, just like you said, he's got that hood, and afterwards he's picking up a wand and then going for a Lotus Orb.
I love the straight up hood pickup. No shenanigans, understands where the most of the damage from Master is going to come from. So this is going to be problematic. I want to see MagMa rotating to the top lane, trying to push a tower. Timbersaw is already level 6. Gyrocopter only level 5. XXS has that invis. Let's see if they can grab a kill. Waiting for the lasso.
Easy kill there with the lasso coming in. They've got 3 heroes just to go right on top of TZY and take out a Timbersaw, which is a hero that, in that matchup alone, yeah, probably doesn't die. Get the addition of XSS. He's got that lasso, has that invis.
It was always hard to play Timbersaw into Batrider. You just, you know, struggle using that Timber Chain. He flies over you. You're vulnerable to magical damage. Again, one of the reasons why he decided to go straight for the hood. I don't think even if he managed to pop the hood there, that would save him. Aster's lineup needs a lot of time to be able to actually get online. They need levels on their supports. Batrider, he's also going for Boots of Travel as the first item, which is pretty common, you know, but it's not an item that gives you ability to fight. So Puck will need to do a lot of heavy lifting just to keep their team inside the game.
They're coming around. They've got the Hex out onto White Album. Exorcism popped early. Call down Dream Coil. That gets used. Locks up the Death Prophet and does use the Exorcism. Dies shortly after. Charge comes in and comes across the bow of XSS. Hits on a Monet. TZY can do all he can as they've locked up Monet. The relocate's not going to be in time, and they will lose this gyrocopter. Coming over, though, is Shylock trying to make something happen on this troll. He's burning up quite a bit and might be in a lot of trouble. And Paul, actually, as White Album gets the kill. He's illusory orbing over to the side as Yamian catches him with the Earth Spike. First hit bash with the Hex. There's the kill, and taking out another.
10 heroes, top lane, 9.5 minutes in. And this is what we talked about, like Shylock, laning stage, very good. Then he decides to actually TP, try to help the team with the troll, who's like level 7 at the time, which definitely he should not do it. He should farm the jungle, get
Death
his
Prophet.
Battle Fury up. Oh, that
Dust
Prophet.
is just dead again. This homing missile comes in, and they've got the lasso to follow it up. You came up top, you used Exorcism, you die shortly after,
Oh,
come back
man.
top and die again. Your game is shut down.
Oh, this has to be one of the worst feelings in Dota, especially when you play Death Prophet. He went in, Exorcism, dealt like almost no damage at all. Then you TP back, you die again. Your TP's on cooldown, so you have to walk. You still have tier 3 towers, so that means, you know, you have to walk a lot of distance to get to the creep wave. Now, this is a problematic. Like, that Prophet should not die there. TZY clearing a big stack in the jungle. Maybe he was afraid, you know, you would eventually want to save it for Troll, possibly a Death Prophet to enable her game, make her get a comeback into this game somehow. But yeah, I guess they were just afraid that Batrider will be able to go in and take those stacks.
Especially with the pressure that was coming out up towards top, they don't want to have Dire push in and, like you said, see those stacks and take them. Those 2 deaths there really mess with Dust's game. We've seen it before, and we're seeing it again. The laning goes well, and then everything kind of falls apart when they're forced to make decisions like that, and fighting and not fighting, and Shylock makes a mistake. I mean, Dust makes a bit of a mistake there, too, with the Exorcism.
Actually, 3 huge mistakes by MagMa's cores. Shylock deciding to TP, Death Prophet dying straight away. Problem is, they don't have any kind of save for the Death Prophet. Usually we see something.
Like an
most
Oracle.
of the time, it is Oracle, so he needs to be more careful about his positioning.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So put some pressure on the top tier 1. Boots travel finish for XXS. We got a quick pause coming in here. Aster taking a little bit of a lead. I like how White Album has been playing. Yeah, he gets caught in that top interaction, but for the most part, I've been really impressed from his play. He's come over from SAG, you know, the artist formerly known as DD, now going by White Album. He's played this puck a couple times throughout the DPC season. He's performed really well. He's had a couple different builds. This time he goes to the Veil, which I think is a good choice.
Yeah, it goes back to my point where I talked about him needing to be more active. You know, the Boots of Travel on the Batrider will come as the first item. Gyro still wants to be able to farm, so this
Speaking of Gyro, he's getting chased here. Finger used, Monet gone really quick. Those are 2 quick deaths for him in succession.
This is like cheap damage. Like, look at their magical damage. Batrider, Next Assassin, synergizes well with his hero on top of that. Going into Blink Dagger next, not going into Boots of Travel, which I really like. Like, he can pick up bots after. And then they have this mobile lineup with possibly relocate last or relocate plays, coil into relocate or Boots of Travel from the Batrider. So a lot of options for Aster. The good thing is they did not lose the laning stage because MagMa, they made a couple of mistakes. And I think with the lineup that they had, MagMa should be ahead at this point of the game.
Got a kill there for TZY. XSS going down. Looking towards that Blink Dagger, but unable to
Dire's top tower is under attack.
you know, allocate the gold quickly enough to get it, and now that'll be slowed down a little bit. 13 minutes in, they're taking a tier 1 top, so they've got the mid tower. That ended up getting denied, but the tower up in the top lane they take themselves, and this is gonna squeeze the map a little bit for Team Aster.
Radiant using Glyph. It was only White Album hitting a tier 1 tower, but you know, something might be cooking. There is Monet and Borax coming together, so no defense of that tier 1 tower. They understand, like, we probably should not do it. Troll getting closer to his Battle Fury, just a couple of hundreds away. He would have had that if he did not DP and die into that tier 1 tower top engagement.
And then you think about, he would have had that Battle Fury earlier. He would have had those stacks, most likely. Dream Coil used over mid. You've got the Waning Rift followed up. Lanham here with the Vendetta hit. And the last hit on a Mian. Lanham, of course, building that Falcon Blade.
I wanted to say it, you know, ask you, do you think Lanham will get that Falcon Blade on Nyx Assassin into possible Aghanim Scepter? Like, if he gets Philosopher's Stone, also known as Fele, he just might be able to farm that Aghanim Scepter.
When was this decision made?
It's been made a couple of tournaments ago.
Okay. I never got the update.
Sorry, we didn't message you.
All right, next time.
You were irrelevant at that time. No. Just kidding, wake up.
I'm gonna hide under this desk right now. Oh my god.
You know, sometimes when we talk about the stuff, you're just setting up jokes perfectly. I mean, you and me, we cast it a long time ago. I've seen the potential, but I'm not a TO, so I could not invite you to the tournaments. Hype it up.
Yeah, they're going to go after this IO. They've got the Yules in. They'll use the Exorcism under the call down. They'll still get the kill, though, onto Borax. Use that Fingers. 2 stacks from Yan Yan. Good pressure coming out from MagMa recently. I think that one fight, yeah, they slipped up, but they've had a couple of good engagements, and they've continued to make Monet's life really hard around the map.
That good invasion of the triangle.
Lasso on a TZY. They've got the Vendetta hit onto the Timber. And a quick kill there. Doesn't even feel like they need the break. Dream Coil, okay. Are they going to continue to go for this? They really wanted to get Shylock, but the rest of the team wasn't ready.
So this should be a tier 1 tower. There is no Timber Saw. They need the front line from Timber. Timber's actually insanely farmed right now. Lanham.
Moving in, gets hit by that Earth Spike. They're coming around. The Veil placed down by White Album. Charged through from Kaz. Silence hits onto a couple of these heroes from Aster, but they're going to continue to chase. They want Shylock. They want Kaz. That Battle Trance is used, but he's stunned up, so a lot of this time is just going to be spent doing nothing. He's trying to survive, but he's on the run and gets behind the tier 2 tower, but the Spike Carapace is there. And they will take out a third. MagMa not finding any answers on that one.
Yeah, this is the aggression that we've seen from Aster throughout this DPC league, you know, just going 5-man strong, like spell usage is on point. They get the tier 1 tower from that as well. And once again, Shylock trying to fight with the team, dies. So yeah, kind of rough one for him.
He was spotted in that area before when they used the Dream Coil, didn't catch him originally, and he went back there. I thought maybe if you really want to avoid these fights, move over to another part in the map, right? Try to farm somewhere else.
Like, you need to find the farm for yourself. I want to see what his item build is going to be. Yasha into BKB. I don't think if Aster keeps going for these earlier fights, you might need to be able to just buy a straight BKB, because you need to fight with the team, and we could see the kiting potential from the puck, like the coil, stuns coming out from Lanham's Nyx Assassin. A bit disappointed, Lanham going into Eon Disc.
For now.
For now, he could swap things around. Like, Eon Disc on Nyx is one of the best items. Like, Eon Disc overall just got buffed, lowered the cooldown of it. Lanham chasing.
Yeah, they don't have any vision
double
to spot
stun.
him. Great double stun. There's the Dream Coil to follow it up. Spike Carapace as well, making it look really easy. Dust is going to try and survive here, but there's just no chance. Lanham, it's been very impressive to see him come in here and just kind of be what Aster needed.
And he could go for that kind of a play. There is an observer, there is a sentry ward, so he knows that he will not get caught by any vision. And to go back to the Eon Disc talk, like, it allows you to use your spells. If you get caught, they don't have any dispel mechanic or whatever, and then like just landing an Impale or Spike Carapace could make a big like turnaround. Like,
yeah, Aster, they've really been performing well off the back of Lanham joining the team. There was a point where they had Fade, of course. He goes to E-Home. They bring in Chizbug. Chizbug, a star who I thought was going to work with this lineup, and I think soon after they realized it wasn't going to work, they, traded him for,
love the nickname,
but went to Lanham.
Chizbug.
It's a great name. I love it. And then they pick up Lanham, and since they've got him, they've performed really well.
Who would have guessed? Lanham brings a ton of experience to that team, and we can see why. Like his rotations, his 2-0 and 6 on position 5 next assassin. I'm not sure you want to be given this Nyx Assassin to land him in any of the future games. Bottom lane.
Yeah, they want to go. They've got the Dream Coil on the 2 once again. They've got 2 heroes here to try and support these cores, but the relocate in. Monet, Borax, they come through. The lassos there on the dust. They'll also have the kill on a TZY, a quick 1-2 punch as, oh gosh, MagMa doesn't even have the time to TP out. White Album grabs the third. And with that, I mean, it's such a quick fight. Immediately, Monet and Borax are back up towards top with the relocate.
This has always been, you know, the strength of Gyrocopter plus IO. You're playing a different side of the map. Someone set things up. You have pretty much the perfect hero. Puck, they stand in a coil for a very long time. BKB reveal. From the Gyrocopter, they have no abilities that go like through magic immunity that he needs to be really afraid of. There is like Exorcism, there is like Spirit Breaker, but at the moment, like he's just too tanky, especially after he picks up this Aegis. Let's see if MagMa wants to contest it. They still need a bit more time to actually finish it off.
Yeah, the contest won't be there. And it's an Aegis for Monet. All of a sudden, Aster, they were behind about 2K early on in the laning stage. Now they're up 10K. Good Impale landing from Lanham. Responded with an Earth Spike from MagMa.
Do you know B-Cup in Dota 1, we could not think of 3 different names for the spells. So both Lion, Nyx Assassin, and Sand King, they all had Impale. I was just, you know, too complicated to think of something.
Now they're all differently named. Do you still just, when you think about them, just normally just call them all Impale still?
Sometimes, yeah.
They've got the Spike Carapace, the lockdown, easy kill on a Kaz, dominating now for White Album, who drops another multi-hero Dream Coil in, and they've got the call down on top of it. They get the kill.
Alanum is just too good.
So good, and he is continuing to perform at top-notch skill. They will continue to go after Dust, get themselves a third. He's been on fire. Lanham has just been perfect this game. 2-0-11. He's fine, you know.
I've been really impressed the way Lanham has been playing throughout this DPC Season 1. Like his Abaddon, position 5 with boots of speed, moving across the map, getting the kills. Like, you don't expect this much pressure coming out from position 5. You don't think he can do that much, but actually Lanham can.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And they have really just seen the best from Lanham.
Radiant
It's the Falcon Blade, man. It's what's helping him every time. You don't expect a bug to be holding a blade. It's scary.
I'm just trying to think of some game where a bug holds any kind of sword.
Probably Dark Souls, one of them, at some point. They're going over. Lanham is just man fighting Kaz right now, and it's giving enough time for the rest of the team to come over. XXS, he doesn't have Blink, but he does have Lasso, so with that Flame Break, he'll have the Lasso, and they should be able to secure the kill on Kaz, who does use that charge, but gets hit by the Spike Carapace, and now you've got another one, and the Ags finished on Monet.
And Monet is just an unkillable beast right now. Also, to go back to like the itemization from MagMa, that Prophet decides to go Hood as the second item, which, you know, I can understand, but you're playing from behind. She died twice. You still need a BKB this game because there's a ton of uncontrollable damage. There's still a ton of magical damage. Like, Nyx Assassin can set up a stun on you perfectly with just the Carapace.
Relocate up towards top. BKB TP out from Shylock. That is the 10-second BKB used to TP out.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about his itemization as well. He had Yasha into be queued up. I said there's not enough time for him to buy both of these items straight away, especially Yasha into BKB. Decides to go straight into BKB, which I like. I just don't think, you know, that they're having a rough time right now, just fighting, going into Basher next, which I also like. If you can farm that to be able to possibly just kill one hero before the fight starts. They also lack a bit of a lockdown. I love the itemization from Timbersaw. Like, this Lotus Orb could make a hell lot of a difference, especially like against the Gyro's homing missile, mana burn, lasso, getting rid of the silences could be great.
And I also just want to point out, Lanham's just had free reign of the map. Like, the warding, like, obviously he's under Ob Sentry right now, but Aster have done a good job of cleaning up the map, making sure that Lanham has the ability to just be around everywhere. And that's what set up a lot of these kills, a lot of these relocates, is him in the Vendetta, waiting for the relocate, land the stun. He's landed a bunch of multi-hero stuns. And every single time it feels like he's just walking around the map unseen.
I don't think you can expect more from your position 5 than what Lanham is doing in this game. Like, this is a perfect example of what position 5 does. De-warding, setting up some aggressive wards, moving around the map, securing the runes for the team, having 0 deaths on 5, which is pretty impressive.
Going into that Vendetta. We'll see if they make a move here. It's actually MagMa who smoke. But look at where Lanham is. He's ready to break smokes, and that's exactly what he does. Doesn't even get hit by the dust. Oh, man. Coming in, Vendetta with the impale. Easy kill on a TZY. Looks over at MagMa, and they're going to continue to chase and grab a second. They might even get more. White Album now has the mana.
Coil on
it's a
3.
3-man coil. It just doesn't get any better than this. They're going to lock down this Death Prophet. Dust gets killed off. Shylock goes to the battle, transfer the BKB once again. So that will run out. The BKB's been popped by Monet. He's actually lucky that Kaz looks so juicy as a kill there, as Monet stops to get the kill on the Spirit Breaker, and all that's left alive is that troll.
A rough one for MagMa. They don't have the answers that Aster is throwing at them. Like, first 10 minutes, they were okay-ish. Then they bring extra heroes. Troll dies. DP dies twice in a row. This is kind of where the game breaks. And this gyrocopter is just getting out of control. Going into Scotty, just a point booster away to be able to like deal with the lifesteal coming out of control. Ulti, Timbersaw, that Prophet. It's just item that's going to cripple out pretty much the whole team of Team MagMa.
Yeah. 20k ahead. It's a rough spot to be in. 23-5. It's just been complete one-sided affair. TZY goes to the flamethrower. Okay.
Okay. I mean, when this item was, the shard was introduced, I was talking about it as if it was a meme. But it's not. It's actually one of the best one. I think that's like S-tier shard for sure right now. It deals a ton of damage. It's 30% slow.
We've seen it be a game changer before, but
not in this
20K,
one, B-Cup. You know, I'm trying to stay positive here. Coil on 2.
Yeah, Dream Coil again. That hit with the Flame Break. They've got the silence, but it's only onto the Gyrocopter. Spike Carapace doesn't land anywhere, but Shylock already jumping in with the BKB. That is just not the spot he wants to be in, and now that BKB is going to be down for another minute. He does have Battle Trance, but Aster, well, they're waiting, and they're looking to siege this bottom lane, hoping that MagMa make mistakes and just jump into their hands. It may not even be something that they need. They could just move
This might
forward
be
after
it.
they take the
MagMa
tower.
has one more fight. They don't manage to kill multiple heroes in this one. The game pretty much just ends. Aster's going to repeat that on a mid lane. Let's see the initiation. Lanham, he's in. Godlike for White Album. I'm doing play-by-play. B-Cup.
Yeah, they're going in onto this Timbersaw. They get the kill on a TZY. It's good play-by-play. I think, you know,
Yeah.
cost, you might want to...
I might reconsider
Yeah.
my career options. There's the lasso on Io with the shard. They're just fooling around right now.
Yeah, they got the GG call. Aster, they take game 1. It looks pretty simple overall. I mean, there was a point where MagMa looked good, and again, it comes from that laning stage, but there are mistakes that get made from that laning stage into the mid game, causes them to fall behind quite a bit, and Aster, well, they don't let it go from there.
This has been the story of MagMa and LDCS throughout this tournament. Good players, they know how to play the lanes individually. They're very skilled, but when it comes to decision making, we can see like Shylock, first rotation, fights with the team, dies. Same goes for the Death Prophet.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, a rough one, something they need to work on, but I've been really impressed by Lanham this game. Man, it's just a beast.
Yeah, definitely my MVP for game number 1, but I guess we'll see what the panel has to say in terms of an MVP, in terms of that game 1. So back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, B-Cup and Lacoste. Yep, that is game number 1 in the bag for Team Aster as expected. They looked good. They looked crisp. Very few mistakes from them and MagMa, unfortunately. Same can't be said. A couple of vital misplays, and all of a sudden, they are just down too far and they could not recover. But guys, I mean, I think the first question I want to ask is, why did this Io kind of just... You know, this was a first pick Io, which really wasn't answered at all. And now we look at it, you know, that there was no Wyvern, there was no AA. Could that have been something which MagMa just completely overlooked in this game?
You don't really overlook an IO. You just think that what you've picked is solid enough to deal with him. I think they were also preparing a little bit more for the carry IO than for this position 5-1
Right.
that was position 4-5, whatever that was played with the gyrocopter. But that's truly not a... You can't blame this game on the draft. It's all about the execution, that Prophet utilizing her first exorcism, dying with it, then going back into the lane, dying again without the TP. Shylock as well joining fights way too early. As a troll, there's not a lot that he can contribute. He tries to do so. However, one good thing for MagMa, at least they managed to take down this gyrocopter a couple of times early on. That finger was utilized very well by them, but just picked apart by Aster, really. Just outplayed and picked apart in many of these early skirmishes.
Yeah, it's very hard to deal with a lineup like the one that Aster has. For an inexperienced team like MagMa, you have this Nyx Assassin scuttering around, you know, picking you off from the side, and Bad Rider flying in, catching the next guy, and just get picked off one by one. And it really takes a lot of mental fortitude to not get affected by that. And we could definitely see after that fight top, you know, they got picked off twice, I think, on the DP again, and they just didn't play Dota anymore. They were so scared suddenly to make any move around the map. They got out-farmed. Aster takes the Roshan, and the game is very simple from there on out.
Pretty brutal stuff in this first game, that's for sure. I mean, there really didn't look like there was much of a chance at all for MagMa to come back into it. Once they started going on Aster, these pick-off heroes just become so oppressive. You can't move around the map. You can't leave yourself open. And unfortunately, that wasn't something which MagMa were able to control, and in the end, they do just get crushed and suffocated out of this first game, I think is the only way to really say it. That's about it, really, for game number one. How much more can we really say about it?
Yeah, I think it all comes back to that one team fight top where, not Lacoste, Lizard said, where the DP just died top twice. They were suddenly scared of taking team fights. With a lineup where the team fight should be super simple, you know, and then you play split push against a team that has so many pick-off abilities, it's not going to work.
And it's funny how we said in the draft before that for MagMa to have a good game, Dust needs to have a good game. And then he dies twice straight up, and I was like, uh-oh, this is not looking good.
The map just feels so claustrophobic if you're Radiant. I can feel for them even. You're playing versus Nyx, Batrider, IO with Relocated. It's
Maybe if I take this cap, I'm dead.
One misstep and you're just punished for it instantly. Very hard to play, and as I said, it can get into your head. But let's see who our MVP is for game number one. And to nobody's surprise, it will be Lanham on the Nyx Assassin. Doing so much work, being the #1 killer, placing tons of wards, and generally just supporting his team, and being the driving force behind this very aggressive playstyle in game number one. So a well-deserved support here.
16 assists. Pretty much every time you would see that Prophet or Troll die, he would be a centerpiece of catching them, either with the Carapace or with the Impale. So
Also, zero deaths.
Zero deaths.
Yep.
Like any support that ever has a zero death game is just like, it's just a testament to how good the positioning in the game really is. Like
or bad as well.
or bad. But most of the time, if it's bad, you're going to die at least once or twice, you know.
That's true.
But if you're always in a great position, like he got out of a lot of fights with like 100 health, he goes back in, another double stun. Just Lanham, man. Like, who says old people can't be good at Dota? Like, Lanham is... he's like 30-something, and he's still crushing.
Is he really? 30
Yeah.
plus? Didn't know that.
Yeah.
He is certainly still looking fresh as a daisy to me, but that's going to be it for game number one. We're going to throw it over to a break, after which we shall be back with game number two in this best-of-3 series between Aster and MagMa. We'll see you very soon. Hello, Dota fan, and welcome back to the Dota Pro Circuit. We're here with the Chinese region, brought to you by Perfect World. Recovered, saved it. We're halfway through this series, and I'm going to say that without any shame at all. It is MagMa versus Aster. Guys, what are the chances for game number 2? You know, we talked about the chances being about 10-15% coming into game number 1. Now with this absolute crushing, I felt like I was watching the hydraulic press channel after game number 1, and they were just getting absolutely squeezed. Are we expecting a comeback?
50%, right? They either win or they lose.
Yeah, it's only 2 outcomes, really.
Yeah.
Now for realsies?
Yeah, it's going to be rough, but if they maybe get that lone trade that they won versus eHome with, that's I'm literally I saw one draft that
wasn't
worked.
banned, right?
Yeah, I saw one draft that worked for them, one draft that they won with, and I'm coming back to it. Just
So
try
what
it.
you're saying is, now, when the pressure is on them, more than ever, MagMa have a chance to pick something completely crazy, to turn things around, to do the unthinkable, and come back versus Team Aster. Is that what you're saying is going to happen here, Lizard?
Not really with as much hype, and I'm not really saying that that's what's going to happen.
It's rather what might need to happen because you're not
I see.
beating Aster in a straight out game.
Okay.
Like you gotta dig deep, very deep in fact, like as deep as you have never dug before, and then you can surprise. If you can surprise us, maybe you can surprise Aster. But last game was not very surprising, unfortunately. The troll last pick was more like, okay, comfort zone, but you're not beating them in your comfort zone.
No, you're not. No, you're not. We need that spin ball, that curve ball, that wild card pickup, and
The
unfortunately,
fidget spinner.
ooh, yeah. Very, very relatable. Thank you, Black. Appealing to the younger audience.
Did you actually ever have a fidget spinner?
I did not.
No? Yeah.
But I watched a lot of people have a lot of fun with it.
Same.
I always was like, what's so fun about that?
It's fun to fidget with something, I guess. and
my
spin
uncle
it.
bought like I think 15,000 fidget spinners, but like at the end. 15,000 fidget spinners, yeah, it's like an investment which he was going to sell on. But it was kind of towards the end of the trend, and then he couldn't sell them on. And then he was just like, hey, do you want to buy like 600 fidget spinners for like 5 quid? And I'm like, no.
Not
No,
really.
I don't. It's like, you're connected with the young kids with your e-gaming. I'm like, no, sorry.
Should have asked you
Imagine
first.
imagine if I'm here on the panel, just be like, and by the way, guys, I've got some.
You gotta
They're coming back. They're making a comeback.
Making a comeback, yeah. If only I possessed the influence to bring Dota-themed fidget spinners into popularity. But nevertheless, we do have a draft for game number 2 of Aster versus MagMa. And as we've mentioned before, there's a possibility of MagMa going down that cheese aisle at the supermarket and picking themselves up maybe a lone druid or something like that. I'd be down for it.
Yeah,
That'd be
no differences in bans so far. Team MagMa banning out the Enigma and Team Aster with the Tusk. What were the other 2 bans? I can't actually recall, but I'm sure
the Shaman on
Shaman?
Team Aster on MagMa. Black.
I don't know at all.
I'm sure we'll remember Alchemist. Yeah, that was it.
Well, was it actually Alchemist?
It actually was. Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Alchemist so much before that first game. Now we've forgotten about completely about it.
Honestly,
the hero.
Alchemist is like an average team crusher. Like you just accelerate so fast, and if you don't get stopped, the game is just over in 15-20 minutes. So it makes a lot of sense that an inexperienced team would ban it.
Still though, exactly what you said, average team crusher. Like I'm not to put my I'm still to put my full faith in the hero in games in which we are seeing 2 giants clashing.
It's always hit or miss, right? Either Alchemist crushes or he just does nothing. Like there's no in between. Same as with a carry Alchemist, really. Either you crush the game or you don't. It's a very hit or miss hero.
Certainly is. Certainly is.
But no Alchemist this game, unfortunately.
It
I
was-
love to see Alchemist.
Yeah, in the FDC League it was actually played this morning as well. It was played against Vici Gaming and they didn't care, they just crushed. So crushed against the Alchemist, that is.
Yeah.
But it was also a game in which Vici Gaming were favorited as well, as a stronger team, that is.
They take the puck.
They do.
Team Aster,
So good.
Is a good hero. I like.
Da.
Zashun.
Sure.
And Aster with the IO again.
But this time, no puck.
I feel like if you're Aster, right, you're taking the series as practice, And
But you still have to be very
yeah,
serious.
of
about
course,
it.
of course, 100%. But you must be also a little bit angry that you can't pick up that Alchemist and see how it goes for yourself, right? It's been the rage. Everyone is playing it, all big teams, and now MagMa just banning out the Alchemist versus
Might
you.
be good for Aster though, because they will be playing IG as last team, and like if they somehow get Alchemist and they crush super hard, yeah, let's do it against IG, and then IG's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but IG picked Alchemist.
they
when
did,
were-
they did.
yeah.
They love the Alchemist. Pick A straight off the bat.
Ah, there we go. This is what I was calling for last game. The A is the answer to the IO. And I also really like it with Puck as well. A always works best when you've got these target heroes, to place down that big old point your blast here, buddy spell. And Coil is definitely that.
Yeah, it was banned out last game, so
In the
they-
second
they
phase,
could-
though.
Yeah,
Second phase, yeah.
but versus IO, very good. The problem always is if IO is a core, suddenly this AA feels a little bit worse. You can just blow him up with your spirit balls as well. You're very. The problem is you have 550 goddamn movement speed with the Helm of Dominator.
Just hit the ice
Yeah.
blast, bro.
So that hitting that ice blast, even with control such as Puck, is not that simple.
As soon as A's hands go up, it like slowly flies towards you. Like
Yeah, you're just gone.
yeah.
See ya.
At least you can't see it like before when you would drop a sentry and you would see
and you
the
can see
ice
the
blast.
coming through.
Or
But
just they throw it through the tower and you just see it through
Yeah,
the tower.
yeah,
I know it's coming
Bing,
for
bing,
me.
bing, 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 bing.
when you're running into the fountain and then you just see a red dot flying over the tower on top of you and you're trying to run
Well,
out.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys run. I just accept it. I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna.
If you're that good, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, exactly. But the Brewmaster comes out from Aster. This is a blast from the past. Very popular hero for the first few weeks of the Chinese DPC. Has since declined in popularity, but Aster, they want to dust off the old tricycle and give it a ride.
Yeah, I'm still not too sure what to think about it here, to be honest. Sometimes it looks amazing, other times it looks like a complete burden. I don't know. It's
All right, versus the Puck, right? Because of
It
your
is.
ulti versus the AA as well. Looks like a solid Brewmaster game.
It is. That is a solid game for sure.
If they wanted to do IO Brew as well in the 3 and 4, is that a strong lane? 'Cause it sounds like a strong lane. Drunken Brawler.
It's good. You have,
Overload.
I mean, the combo wouldn't really be the crit, I think, but more like the balls into the, what's it called? The drunk
Cinder
thing?
Brew.
Cinder
is
Brew,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of magic damage, especially like level 3. It's just like 500 magic damage. Could be a lot of
Casual.
burst potential. But it's probably just going to be the 5 IO. Like, Monet doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would like to play IO. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just the feeling I get from the guy.
I would love to see it, nonetheless. I would love
Sure.
to see it from Aster, so that they're a little bit more flexible on that position 1 for the IO to practice up for the IG series, because right now IG, they feel like they have also a slight drafting advantage over Aster. Speaking about that series.
They're too versatile
Yeah.
on IG. They really are.
And if Aster at least flexes this IO into the core position, then they can get a little bit in IG's head, right? At least they need to consider that IO core.
Well, that's assuming IG knows fear, which they don't look like they do.
They definitely don't.
No, they've
I've
been
seen their
pretty
photo
merciless.
shoot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty rough, yeah.
Merciless.
Rave King.
Eyes of killers.
Yeah, Rave King is great against A. Of course, you just die to the blast, but then you don't actually die. Same
Just
as
kidding,
Puck.
lol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Oh,
kidding, lol. I'm back up, bro.
can't really do anything about the Skellies as well if you're the AA. Later on, the Shard is kind of neat with the Puck. You get a lot of
Yeah.
magic damage.
What's the level 4 increase? 25 or 30?
Isn't it 30?
think it's 30.
I think it's 30 right now.
Spirit Breaker.
Again.
Again, we see the hero.
Okay, okay.
So is this like MagMa's answer to the IO? Because this is the second time they've placed it.
I thought it was the answer to Nick's last game,
Yeah.
but maybe they think it's just against the IO.
There was like a long time ago I used to counter mid lane dual lanes of IO +1 with Spirit Breaker, but that's literally this is blast of the past. The grandpa lizard talking. This was my thing that
Back in my time.
yeah,
Back
you,
in my
you, you
day,
take
when
Spirit
I was an
Breaker,
old
you
man.
go mid, you play versus IO Tiny, and you just buy Poor Man's Shield on
Any
Spirit
hero.
Breaker.
Poor man
On
shield.
no, on
Shut
Spirit
up, Grandpa
Breaker.
Lizard.
You get
Take your medication and go to sleep.
You get tossed into the tower. By the time you walk out of range, you didn't take even 100 damage by the two of them hitting you on the tower. Those are some good days. However, let's go into reality, into
Yeah, bring us back
today's
to
world.
2021,
Yeah,
please.
Spirit
Thank
Breaker
you.
isn't nearly as strong versus IO as he used to be. That's
Dragon Knight. It's good against Puck, but it's awful against AA.
And look at how many of those boxes he ticks as he fills up that chart with his lovely redness. Ticking all those boxes, really. He's just a good all-rounder, DK.
He always has been.
Yeah.
He tanks, he stuns, he does damage.
Meanwhile, MagMa, they go with a Morphling.
yeah, they have that IO already picked. The A, already picked up. Nothing to worry about there.
It's pretty good against Dragon Knight, IO, and Brewmaster, really. You don't really care too much about any of those. The Wraith King matchup can be a bit tough. If Wraith King gets a good start, a fast Radiance, he can outscale you. But it's pretty good against DK. You can turn into the DK, stun him.
They do have decent amount of stuns, right, from the DK, and then
They
follow
do.
up with the Wraith King is nice.
Morph can definitely can get caught out of position pretty easily.
But looks like a solid Morphling game. Nothing really that he struggles against too hard. And
DK actually surprised me a little bit. I always felt like playing DK into an AA is so hard. Like this Vortex owns you. You're not super mobile, so the cold feet can give you a lot of trouble too.
I think it's this combination of IO plus Dragonite that they're going back to. We've seen it. Like, yeah, they have a Wraith King, and yeah, this IO will be played by Borax most likely, but IO Dragonite just looks very solid after the Frost Blast. Like,
After the Frost.
the Frost Blast, yeah, you're kind of useless. Not
Just
gonna-
build Saint Yasha on both.
Which
That's
is something that
sweet,
we've
sweet
seen,
strategy.
right? Kaya and Yasha. And,
Yeah.
Kaya and Sanj, sorry.
Yeah, maybe it's an offlane Wraith King. You never know. Could be 5 Brew, 1 IO offlane Wraith King. Let's go.
Oh, Galaxy Brain.
Yeah.
Probably
3 strength,
not.
of course. Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
There's a possibility.
Offlane Wraith King
Always.
into a Morphling as well seems kind of sus.
So good.
Yeah.
You put out your skeletons, and he's like, ha.
What do I do? Just right-clicking me. I could use any one of my abilities, but
I guess I'll just hit him twice.
If he morphs full edgy, you never know. He might die.
Never
can
more
happen.
full edgy.
Yeah.
Last 2 bands, DP, Pangolier.
And Batrider plus OD on the side of Team MagMa. Yeah, just this OD versus Morphling.
Yeah.
We've seen that matchup go historically really poorly for a Morphling. You have that pure damage too.
To pure damage him.
just
the
cut
pure
through.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if Puck is going to be middle or offlane. Can be in both positions, of course.
Viper for Team MagMa.
I could see it. It owns DK. Puck.
Owns DK, owns Wraith King.
Yeah.
Nice crits, idiot. But they go Sand King. Interesting.
Sand King cometh.
So it's
A lot of
Spirit Breaker mid. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Lots of
Viper.
AoE
lot
damage.
of AoE damage, a lot of magical damage as well, forcing some earlier BKBs perhaps from Team
It's
Aster.
time for a Black Dragon this game.
Double Sand King with the Morphling as well is very
Yeah,
good.
we've seen that Axe do absolute work.
But it's the same as Spirit Breaker. Morph can also turn to Spirit
Yeah.
Breaker.
True.
Go Beastmaster
Two
last
tasty
pick.
targets.
Okay, okay.
So it's not Wraith King offlane. Who could have guessed?
What a twist. They
Twist of
play
fate.
in exactly how everyone else thought they would. Alrighty, well, Aster just going to round things off quite nicely. I mean, this just looks very bread and butter to me. Aster have got like a straightforward draft. MagMa have got a straightforward draft. Like, I don't think there's any like big hard counters here. I do like the Sand King though. I really do like the Sand King. I think it's a good answer to the IO. These two heroes are always going to reload in together. You can catch them with the stun. You can set up on them. So I'm pretty liking MagMa. Still going to go Aster though, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep. Again,
Goes back to the usual. A lot of potential for Team MagMa with this draft. But Aster's going to win.
same
Well,
like in the
Aster.
same like in game 1. I feel like MagMa has a stronger draft once again, but Aster.
Alrighty, let's bring in our casting duo of B Cup and Lacoste and find out what they have to say about game number 2. Anyone brave enough to take the plunge?
Not really. I
No.
don't need, to be honest, this time around, I'm heavily favoring Team Aster's draft. Even though it's like 5 strength heroes, 4 melee, I think they have like an easier execution. And MagMa, you know, they show their weaknesses so many
Yeah.
times throughout this DPC season.
Bold prediction.
Bold
Thank you.
prediction. Speak up. You know, I'm just saying you could play the odds here. You could play the odds 4 against 1.
You can be a king, be
That's
cop.
not how odds work, I feel like. It's the odds on the game, not the odds on who predicted what. Right?
Whatever.
Whatever, just predict.
I'm going Aster.
You going, Aster?
Yeah.
Big smoke, big smoke.
All right.
Faster.
Oh, big 5-man smoke coming into this game, so we're going to throw it across to you guys. Beakup and Lacoste, take it away for game number 2.
Thank you very much. Well, see, not a 5-man smoke. Again, they're doing this. One of these days, there will be a 5-man smoke or even a 10-man smoke. We'll see. I'm hoping it happens, and we could just
Not this
jump right
time
in.
around. Did I just see that correctly? Io, Borax starting with Blightstone. Level 1 on Io. I don't think I've seen this ever before. Like, usually Io is about sustain in the lane. Sometimes even like Sage Mask. Interesting build. Like, Borax is the one who's, you know, trying to break the game, make stuff happen. Like, he just checked if there's an observer ward on the mid to be able to de-ward that, but it's on the enemy. It's on their own side of the high ground, so they're not going to be able to de-ward that one.
Unless they happen upon it, but doubt it. Lanham, is he building a Falcon Blade on this brew?
I don't think so. I think build on Brewmaster as a position 5 is Urn. Urn of Shadows, because you just ignite with the Urn of Shadow damage with the Cinder Brew. It's so good. They don't have that many like spells to be able to like ignite them, so that Urn will help quite a lot.
Ooh, okay, so he's actually laning with the Beastmaster.
This might be actually like a position 4 Brewmaster. It's not so much about the roles, it's about the lane. Playing into like Sanking, and all right, they're trying to wrap around.
Burrow
Kaz.
Strike comes in. They've got themselves the cold feet onto Monet.
Good body blocks.
He'll freeze over, and Monet getting really low, looking like he's going to drop in. First blood for Kaz on the Ancient Apparition. I'm always a big fan of Ancient Apparitions getting first blood. Feels really good, and he's going to TP towards the top lane.
And Borax not wanting to get any CS, just gets one. You know, drags the creep wave back so that Monet can get the last hits.
Yeah, just going to keep it with him as much as he can. We'll see how that goes. And right now, Brewmaster going into the Thunderclap first. So Lanham, Thunderclap, you know, sometimes we'll see him with the Troll. You get those whirling axes with the Cinder Brew. That's the combination that we've seen
They
quite a
can't.
bit.
They don't have a hero to ignite them. Even if he uses a Cinder Brew, like there's not a spell coming out from the Beastmaster.
You just get covered in beer. That's it. Which is, you know, never a good feeling in itself. I don't know if you've ever spilled beer on yourself or a brew on yourself. It gets all sticky. It's not a fun time. Lanham going after Kaz. Just throwing some right clicks away. We'll see how he progresses in this lane, how the Beastmaster does, because you see a lot of Beastmasters put pressure on, sit towards the top of the net worth, but against this Morphling, how's this matchup supposed to go?
Ancient Apparition and the Morphling, they don't have enough damage to actually kill Morphling in this lane. If he has enough mana to just use the waveform, he can get away. So Shylock should have a pretty decent time, but so is Beastmaster. Like, I think both offlaners and the safe lane will farm here. Kaz, however, on Ancient Apparition needs to be careful. A lot of slow coming out from the Boar and the Brewmaster, and we can already see Kaz struggling a bit to just deal with the Brewmaster. Boar is such a strong, like, laning beast. You have an extra unit that slows down. It got nerfed in the previous patch, but still feels very strong. To be honest, I'm not sure why it had 350 move speed to start with.
Yeah, it's a lot to work with, and even now it feels like just like you get those 2 boars out, you have another slow to pile on, you're running down heroes, getting early kills just with the boars alone, and it feels really strong. So Kaz, he's gonna have to be careful here. Get the second level in the boar, getting a couple levels on Lanham, like things get tricky if you're not careful. Thunderclap action, Lanham hit with the cold feet in return. So any other matchups in particular that you're thinking are going to be close or should be close.
Mid lane is just trading farm, trading CS. I don't think anyone can get a kill before level 6, or unless we see like 1 or 2 heroes rotating. Team Aster very limited on the lockdown for Puck this game, so Puck should have an easy one. They have a roar, Puck can easily like just dodge that. The only instant stun they have is a Dragon Knight. So Dragon Knight's item build like needs to be an earlier Blink Dagger. We can see the bottle refill on the mid lane.
Charge comes out onto White Album.
Almost got him.
Is an invis, and yeah, White Album not really too worse for wear, especially with the rotation from Borax. That ends up being okay. So just some pressure. They didn't even. It wasn't even pressure to get the 4-minute rune though.
It was just a casual charge, like, let's see how much damage we can do. It's a Dragon Knight, 2 points in Dragon Blood. Also a hero that's going to receive probably a huge buff after anime is released.
Yeah, so be ready to train up your dragon play.
And buy all the cosmetics right now, invest in them, because they're going to skyrocket.
Get those diamond hands going, and yeah, they're going to skyrocket up. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Persona in the future for Dragon Knight, or maybe an Arcana, or both. Who knows?
Good way of thinking, B-Cup.
Radiant structures
If you worked for Valve, you would definitely like get a raise for saying this.
I'll send over my CV.
Bottom lane, they have a sentry, easy Y, with the stun still inside that sandstorm. They have enough regen with the magic wand. On Borax, Monet, like this bottom lane becomes a lot harder as time goes by. Like Spirit Breaker doesn't really provide that much. Spirit Breaker will go and pick up a bounty rune, refill the bottle.
And bring it back.
Yeah, what a bro. Spirit Broker.
Yeah, so he also does some accounting on the side, being a broker. But filling up that bottle, bringing it on back to the puck. It's a nice refill to get when you're not coming from fountain, if you're dying in lane or something like that, which nobody has died since that first blood that they got over bottom. And look at this XSS, Lanham, just putting the pressure on. Lanham's only level 2. XSS
Lanham,
getting a majority of the
has been level 1 for quite some time. He just wants to be able to give Beastmaster level 6.
Shylock out of mana. Charge coming in, but they've got the tether, and this is Shylock forced to run away. Slow coming out from Kaz. He's getting low on mana as well, and it looks like the damage on the Shylock's going to be more than enough to get the kill. And all of a sudden, Yan Yan shows up just to die. Dust comes in. He's level 6, so he does have Dream Coil to throw down on this, but is it going to net in anything positive? They'll snap the Dream Coil, and Borax, he'll die for that. I'm not sure he dies if he doesn't snap that Dream Coil.
I still think they get a kill, but yeah, great rotation from Aster. One of the reasons why they did not give a lot of XP to the Brewmaster to get that Beastmaster closer to level 6. You know, get an extra point in a boar with the Necronomicon, mana burn, Morphling just doesn't feel very comfortable playing into that.
No, not at all. And you could see just the second he realized that they were putting the pressure on him, he ran into the trees and then was forced to run out of the lane. And that's just not the pressure you really want to be dealing with if you're Morphling in lane. We're seeing a lot of charges come out from MagMa, but
yeah, he can't find like real openings.
Yeah.
Heroes inside of Aster, extremely tanky. They have 5 strength heroes. You know, very hard to bring down.
TZY just in the sandstorm. He's level 6, Monet level 7. After giving up that first blood. He's fine with where he's at right now, and well, we see the Wraith King does have Midas queued up. Almost has the gold for it, so just a couple creeps away. We'll have that Midas, 8-minute Midas, not a bad timing at all, with boots.
Yeah, usually we see either like phase boots into casual gloves, not upgrading into Midas, and then straight into Radiance. But if you want to get Midas, I think you get it before the phase boot just to hit an earlier timing, get the more value from it. Dragon Knight, finish the hood, Soul Ring, Fairy Fire. I'm not sure how you kill this guy. you need A8 to be level 6 to be able to actually kill him. Other than that, I don't think. Plus, you need to bring at least 3 heroes in total, maybe even a 4th one.
That's a lot of commitment for heroes. Would open up the map quite a bit. Now they're working with this Midas. See if he goes to the wand or finishes off the phase boots first. Wouldn't be surprised if he just goes straight phase, ignore the wand altogether, but we'll see. Cold feet placed on to Lanham, who's still just sitting here level 3. Not a lot of experience coming out on the supports thus far, as Kaz is level 5. And the supports on Radiant, nowhere close to that.
TZY has a lot of farm on his Sanking, doing a good job in the lane, high
Pressure
level.
on to Monet. Bottom bashes in, and they do have Dream Coil with the puck TPing over, and they've already got the first life, so Monet in a lot of trouble, and nobody's here to help this out. They're going to try and fight over mid. They've got the Elder Dragon form popped mid as they lose Lanham, lose Monet. 2 heroes gone on Aster, and this is just a bit too split from them. XSS taking top, though, and continuing
Spirit
to put
Breaker
pressure
needs
there.
to cancel that charge. Like, Dragonite is just not dying. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Beastmaster takes the tower, has a Necro 2 finished. Even with the Boots of Speed, sometimes we see Beastmaster just completely skipping Boots. They get Necro 3 into Boots of Speed. This opens up the map for them. They would gladly love to take a tier 1 tower on the mid lane. On side of Aster, which is like lower than half HP. They know Coil is down, so they should try to take that fight. Play with the catapult. Brewmaster needs to find the levels for himself. Whenever you play Brew, he buys the book. Okay, I respect that. That's one way to get the levels, even though like even Borax is a bit under level, but he will be connected to Monet, soak up some experience from those ancient stacks. And the Brewmaster needs that dome. You want to make stuff done with the first split. Not so much when you're playing 5, but if it's a core Brewmaster, like you're relying on the timing, you can't afford to just not get anything out of the split.
Yeah. As Buzz comes bottom. You usually want it pretty early on. I mean, it's definitely a lot of your team's control, so it's a struggle that he hasn't been able to get it just yet. That courier,
And
oof,
it
that came
delivered,
close.
so he's level 6. They just need to have another rotation to be able to defend the tower, but as I mentioned, already rotation on the mid. They want to take this tower, open up the map for them. TZY getting closer to the Blink Dagger. They need that one to be able to like initiate, even though they have a Spirit Breaker. Still like a lot of damage coming up from the epicenter.
There's the Dragon Tail coming out, but the charge from Yam Yam trying to save the life here of Shylock does enough to do so. No split used by Lanham. They're checking out this mid tier 1, the top tier 1, shrinking the map and the farm space for MagMa, as they've certainly got the heroes here to keep the pressure on to these towers for sure.
There's the Blink Dagger on Sanking, smoke from MagMa, probably to be able to reveal that Blink Dagger, get possibly a kill. Who's showing on the mid lane? It's just a Borax. That's not the kill that they want to get. They want to get the higher priority kill from that. Probably Wraith King. Wraith King does not have ulti yet up again.
Well, it's down for another 45 seconds, and you really want to get into this Radiance as quickly as you can, but Lanham, perfect
Monet.
positioning.
Monet knows something is up.
That was really well done by Lanham. Breaks the smoke. Overall, really well done, but Burrow Strike comes in with the Ice Blast. Oh! They still get the kill there onto Borax, but here comes the turnaround with the Primal Roar being used on the Puck. Puck low, uses the Dream Coil, may not get out of this one, but the Illusory Orb away as they've taken out XXS.
There's the split.
That's 2 kills now for MagMa, and they fought pretty well. The slow on a Miam Miam. This charge is taking forever. He gets hit by the Cyclone from Lanham. The stun and the damage on a TZY. It's at least 1 trade, maybe a second, as another stun is thrown onto Miam Miam. He's trying to get out of this, but is cycloned up once again. They've got the help coming through from Borax, but do they have the damage? Trying to charge, but he's so slow. That charge, he's just a walking.
What is that, a charge? That's level 4 charge. He was so slow. Thing is, for MagMa, it's going to become harder for them to take a fight whenever there's a split up, when there's a Necro units. Like, these are units that you do not want to focus in the team fight, but they do quite a lot, so it could be a bit tricky. Like, good smoke, but also even a better read from Aster. Like, you could see Monet just sitting almost near tier 3 towers, understanding that something is happening. But MagMa, they need to get something out of that smoke, decide to get a kill on that Wisp, and get one extra with the Beastmaster.
I want to see how slowed that Spirit Breaker was. Must have been like 100 movement speed, right?
Yeah, probably.
Because he was moving in place.
And that's a position for Spirit Breaker in this game, which means he gets a bit more farm priority, doesn't have to buy the sentries, phase boots, and the windlays. So, you know, that's a lot of move speed, but not when you're slowed down like that.
Yeah, from 425 to what looked like nothing. He was moonwalking and playing a little music to it. Well, thriller maybe. XSS continuing to farm bottom, has some support with Lanimir. Primal Roar back up. The Primal Split is on cooldown. Dream Coil there for Dust. Let's see if they make a move. They've got 3 bottom, now a 4th, and they do smoke. Lanham showing in lane. Blink, Burrow Strike, Ice Blast, but Elder Dragon forms silence, and the charge comes in. So a lot of trouble here as they've already got XSS and Lanham. This is not where they want to be. Ice Blast finally running out as that did hit on the White Album. Didn't want to commit too much, but the Burrow Strike ends up being short. And the charge comes out onto the DK, but never lands. And with Borax going back to where he relocated to, well, that's a problem. 3 dead on Aster.
Aster needs a bit more time. Raid King has Hand of Midas, so they need that Radiance timing to kick in. Beastmaster also needs to be able to use his like roar to win a fight, summon a Necrobook. If they don't have it, I don't think they have enough damage. Dragonite right now is super tanky, but this is not where the damage really comes from.
Right. So Monet, he's getting close to that Sacred Relic. Has been just farming the entire time. He sits top of the net worth by 600 gold above the Morphling. And we'll see how quickly Morphling can start to really get the ball rolling here, as he does have that Yasha going into the Lincoln's Ags. And that's the Ags for the combo with the Spirit Breaker. Ice Blast coming in. Dust stunned up for a second. Lanham has the Primal Split. He'll use it. Yan slowed down to basically nothing. They'll take the Spirit Breaker. Cyclone on a Kaz. They've also found Dust. And these right clicks coming through from Monet are enough to get the kill. That's 2, now 3. As Lanham has the Cyclone. Loses the Panda. Goes back to form, and
they can go straight into Roche, but they have enough damage. A lot of attack speed coming on from the Inner Beast, the Necro units on top of that. Scan connect, so Dire knows something is up. There is an epicenter. AA out in 10 seconds. We'll have a blast, but I don't think it's doable. I think Roche will die before that, unless like Sand decides to go in with the Burrow Epi. AA ulti.
Ooh, he's got Blink. He might make the moment happen. Epi, Ice Blast. All right, that hits. The combo's there. Monet taking some damage. Will turn this around onto TZY, though, and get a +1.
Hood will keep them alive. Nice try, a bit too late. They needed to bring one extra hero, possibly. Give vision so Spirit Breaker could charge in. Dust in a bit of a trouble. Dragonite stunned him.
Yeah, they've looked to get this control onto the puck. They've got themselves the tether, so the damage onto the DK is just feeling non-existent. They get the kill into Dust. They look over at Yan. The Primal Roar was used by XSS. They've got the ulti used there, but it's just not enough. The damage isn't there for them, and they're
even
gonna
Lanham
lose these
survives.
heroes.
Yeah, this is the decision-making that kind of wins you the game. Aster, a more experienced team, they get the 2 pickoffs. A blast will connect, but I don't think anyone is in trouble. So they turn those couple of kills into Roshan, into Tier 2 Tower, into another good fight. They give enough time for Raid King to buy a Radiance. Also, Dragonite picks up the Aegis, which is something that we don't usually see, especially like on these transformation heroes.
Right.
But since they have a Raid King, I don't think they need to worry too much about that. There's no mana burn coming out from any of the heroes on MagMa, and their combo might come in a bit too slow. Like Morphling going for the Lincoln Sphere, I can understand that. Blink initiation from the Dragonite, stun from the Beastmaster, so wants to be able to get that shift off in a fight. It's a scary combo. We've seen it, especially in the Southeast Asia region. Morphling plus Spirit Breaker combo. Once Morphling gets the Aghanim Scepter, Spirit Breaker looks pretty dead.
Yeah.
Just gonna stun lock him.
Yan hasn't exactly felt effective in this game thus far. And they're going to take another tower. On top of that, they got the outpost, and that's about a minute and a half away from going off, which means no experience for MagMa. If it does that, stay that way. Oh, whoa, a big jump in from dust to death.
Another one bites the dust.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
And they will continue. They will just go for the high ground, I believe. Well, they could actually threaten the high ground. I'm not sure why. There was a dragon form up. They still had the Necro Warriors. Guess they did not want to risk anything. They had 2 heroes dead. Surprised Aster actually did not go for the high ground there.
Yeah, you definitely
you don't
feel the
necessarily
pressure.
need to go in. You still have like 2.5 minutes left on that Aegis. Raid King has 2 lives going into Blink Dagger, BKB. Maybe they're waiting like 2 big items. Beastmaster also after Casual Cloak, getting that BKB, something that we see quite often lately. Just be able to stand your ground and get some right clicks going. Beastmaster has a lot of attack speed, a lot of right clicks, if he can get on top of the target.
Yeah, basically an attack a second with that attack speed, doing well. White Album going into the BKB, not too far away from it, has the gold soon enough. Charge comes in, but again, it's a decision to charge a very tanky hero and put yourself in a really bad spot. Mian looking to die as the blink forward damage quickly on a White Album, and he's gone. So the Aegis, it's popped, but also there wasn't an amazing amount of time left on it. Maybe just wanted to do a little bit more. The team didn't exactly follow up there with him, and he was killed pretty quickly.
Still a good trade. You know, just Aegis for one of the heroes. Spirit Breaker doesn't worth that much gold. Still, lanes, look at where the lanes are standing. They're all being pushed in by Team Aster. It's very risky to try to split push against the Beastmaster. You know, they have a superior vision, relocate. Like this combo of the heroes, Beastmaster plus Io, has been popular for pretty much since forever. Roar into relocate. Easy setup, easy play.
More off cooldown. Split in 5. Not going into the Ags, of course. Not really going to get that kind of gold on this Brewmaster for the moment. But, yeah, no Philosopher's Stone for either side. We actually haven't seen Philosopher's Stone at all today.
A bit disappointed.
At least for the supports.
Yeah, this is the item that could make a lot of the difference. We've seen it on, like, I'll hold that thought. Blink stun.
Yeah, coming through on a TZY. Burrow Strike, trying to get away from this. And now a charge again. Look how slow Mian is. He just can't do anything, and he is, well, get dead again.
MagMa right now, it feels they're just waiting for Morphling to buy that Aghanim Scepter and pray something will happen. I'm just not sure if they have enough time. They need to fight right here, right now.
Again on the TZY, dominating for XXS. The glyph was used, and they're on the high ground. They've got a siege creep to work with. Boars, of course, you know, XSS giving that extra attack speed. Very okay with just siege in the high ground and most likely taking a set of racks.
This is what I felt that they could have done after taking a tier 1, tier 2 tower on the bottom lane. Just continue, go in, finish the barracks, but it's a much safer play. Hit their timings. You have this BKB on a Beastmaster. You have BKB Dragonite for quite some time. Now even Raid King getting closer to his, about to finish it off. 3 BKBs. All they have is pretty much magical damage from MagMa. It's possibly time to close out this game.
Yeah, let's take the tier 2 mid as well, or at least try to. TZY TPing in. Blink Burrow Strike lands on a 2. Ice Blast to follow it up, and I don't believe that hit onto the Brewmaster. Doesn't matter though, he's gonna go into the Primal Split. They've got the stun on a Mian. They'll finish off the Spirit Breaker, and again, they just can't crack the shell that is this Aster lineup.
They're just too tanky at the moment. Not enough damage.
They'll find TZY again.
White Album has been really on point with his Blink initiation. Yule Scepter on Morphling from the Panda.
Waveform back. Shylock, though, get his Lincolns popped by the White Album Dragon Tail. Monet freezing over, but he's got Reincarnation level 3. Doesn't really need to worry too much. So, again, just Aster methodically taking down MagMa for the moment. Like, this has just been a very simple game right now for them.
Yeah, MagMa, after laning stage, not really providing much, not going for any aggressive plays, leaving Roshan to die, which allows Team Aster to play even more aggressively. Like, if Aster wants to go safe with this one, wait for the second Roche to respawn, Cheese and Aegis. Like, you have Wraith King that you just mentioned, who has level 3 reincarnation, 40 seconds cooldown on that. Not sure why it's 40 seconds, seems a bit too low, but it is what it is. So they can pretty much keep fighting all the time. They can also get rid of the vision with the Beastmaster Necro units.
And I think even...
Now, Beastmaster also upgraded, the Shard of the Wild Hawk, which allows you to move the Hawk, which is a pretty big thing. It was like that before, and you also have the Dive Bomb.
Yeah, you have the Dive Bomb, which is probably part of that is really not needed.
Yeah, it's all
it's
about
like
being... Yeah, exactly.
Go in looking for Kaz. TZY relocate coming in. TZY, well, he's going to survive a little bit longer than Kaz, but he's still dead and still on the menu for Aster. Dominating for Monet, who has only died twice this game. White Album, deathless. 5-0-7 thus far.
Land him once again, going into that Eon Disc, locks it in case he does not need to pop it straight away. And yeah, feels like this is just the end of Team MagMa.
That's what it feels like, as they're going to go for another set of racks. They've got the Blink Dragon Tail coming in again. Dream Coil's used, but only defensively. It's there, but it's not doing anything. It really doesn't prevent much from Aster as they pop the BKB on White Album. Axe is picked up by the Morphling. Maybe they could do something here, but it doesn't look likely. Aeon Disc allows him to get the Primal Split off. Shylock, even with the Axe, he's immediately going to fall afterwards, is what it's looking like. Primal Roar is there. They've got the lockdown. They'll get the kill. And with that, they'll call GG, and Aster will secure the 2-0.
Very one-sided game, a one-sided series as expected. Team Aster just overall a better team. MagMa, team that still has a lot to learn, gain some experience. Team Aster looking hot. Everyone pretty much expected this result. So yeah, clean execution.
Yeah, really clean from them. Pretty simple overall for Aster. I think they show, again, why they're towards the top of the table. Yeah. They look really good, and you know, everything is moving as one. The gears are turning, and the factory's running. So Aster look really good. They'll take the series 2-0. Break it down a little bit further for you. We've got that handsome panel. Back over to you guys.
An absolute dismantling from Team Aster in what could fairly be described as one of the most convincing series of the entire tournament so far. That was just clinical. Guys, I mean, where were the cracks in this Team MagMa team, and how did Aster take advantage of it?
Just overall by better gameplay. Cracks were everywhere. It's not one of those, you know, movies in which you have to find the perfect solution, the perfect formula for the enemy team. It's just whatever they throw on MagMa, it seemingly works. And MagMa, when they do try to respond, it's either a second or two too late, or they aren't there in full force. You could see the power of their draft in one moment when Sand King, it's after this, when Sand King tries to burrow strike into Roshan, after they took Aegis, and you see A firing his ulti as well, and they do manage to take down 3 heroes to 40-30% HP, but it's just not enough, because Puck isn't there. He died a little bit earlier. Also, Puck was dying left, right, and center to like heroes that he shouldn't be dying. Like in this fight as well, he dies pretty much to the Dragonite alone.
Yeah, another one bites the dust, unfortunately, as this Puck was not having a good performance at all across the board, really. I mean, it's been 2 weak games from Dust, and I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can be making mistakes like this at this late on in the tournament, Black.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, we know, Aster is great. The team overall is just much better than MagMa, so it's maybe unfair to say, Dust looked particularly weak.
Plus the matchup versus DK, right?
Yeah, like the entire team looked pretty, underwhelming. Put it that way.
Yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, 22-9 is a scoreline you don't want to be looking at if you
Yeah.
are a MagMa fan.
We're being reminded of the first game here as well with the scoreboard. Shylock Troll, TZY Timber. This was obviously the first match of the series. The second match, very
Doesn't
similar.
look very different.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
look
was gonna
very
say,
different.
There's not a huge difference between the two, but yeah, this is about the wrong scoreboard, unfortunately, but not much difference between the two matchups. I mean, when we look at MagMa's performance today and LBZS's performance yesterday, I actually feel like we're seeing more improvements coming out from LBZS than we are from MagMa. Would you guys agree?
Yep, probably. LPCS, you saw them pick some different heroes across their series in the recent days because they've been playing the FDC League and Moon or whatever, and they've won versus some top tier teams from the SCA as well. So yeah, it's plausible to say that they've improved a little bit better. But man, yesterday and today, now to bring on the hype, this was all just introduction to the series that's coming tomorrow. And that's what we were waiting for. The big teams are coming our way. Like, because like we're coming here and we already know pretty much with 90% certainty what the result will be.
True,
We even know
true.
how the games will be played pretty much, right? But
Yeah, it's not unfair to say. I mean, it's the top versus the bottom both today and yesterday. We had some very convincing matchups, and of course, we don't have an MVP for this match, and we're going to be going with XXS for game number 2, playing on the Batrider, being annoying in that off lane, and just generally getting on top of people.
And that was game 1. also.
still game 1.
I was like, wait a minute, there was no Batrider there.
Nice
He
bait.
played a phenomenal bad rider.
He did play a former Batrider at some point, but yeah, no, last game he was, of course, on the Beastmaster. Yes.
Either way, he had a phenomenal performance.
Very similar. Offlane hero, offlane hero. Yeah, it's
BM was
yeah.
Yeah, one rides
wait,
a bat,
BR.
one has bars. What's the difference?
You
What's
have
the
a
difference?
hawk that's flying from one hero, bat from the other. Very similar.
Yeah, basically the same. To stop being picky, chat, it's fine. But yeah, XSS is our MVP for this one, being very annoying on this Beastmaster and generally just being, I mean, you know, if you're running this fast, then and your Beastmaster has a good lane, you can just run down lanes, and that's exactly what they did, playing at such a high tempo. It was impossible to play into them, but that's going to be it for today's match. We can have a look at those updated standings now and see exactly how these results have affected things, and to nobody's surprise, we now have Team Aster claiming their second place with their 5-1 score, and poor old Team MagMa now 1-5, so kind of praying that eHome are going to drop a game as well here to even out as well with them. But
Tomorrow, Vici Gaming, Elephant.
Vici Gaming and Elephant, two big teams battling out. We saw on the standings there, they're pretty close to one another. Vici Gaming have been doing pretty well as of recent. Elephant, they're starting to find their feet. They're starting to bring things into gear. If we can see the Elephant that we saw before the DPC, then we're going to have a real match on our hands. But if it's the Elephant we saw at the start of the DPC, then it's not going to be close at all because Vici are going to crush them. I mean, Elephant, they really are this huge X factor right now. You know, if they can pull things together, they still have a chance of making it to the major, but they really, really need to start playing at the highest possible level, at the level that we know they can play at. Meanwhile, Vici Gaming, they've been just coming in again and again, improving, looking better, taking some nice results. They were able to beat Aster last week. You know, this team is not to be messed with, and this is going to be the biggest challenge Elephant have really faced in the DPC so far, as they need this win, and this is a hard team for them to beat. Guys, what are our expectations coming into the series tomorrow?
Yeah, you pretty much rounded it all up very nicely. Vici Gaming, they won versus Aster. Because of that, we might give them a slight edge, a slight advantage, but still Elephant looking stronger and stronger after the way they entered the tournament, which wasn't really the way you expect from Elephant after losing the first couple of series. They haven't dropped one since, and it's going to be a superstar matchup, like hyped for this Dota finally. Today, yesterday, coming into here, we pretty much with certainty knew it's going to be a 2-0 series in which LBZS and MagMa are going to get their behinds whooped, but tomorrow it's different.
Yeah, still gonna say if Elephant plays to the 100%, I don't think any team in this region beats them. Like not IG, not Aster, but they haven't managed to do so far. The engine, you know, is slowly heating up, but yeah, you can't really afford any more missteps at this point. So you
Yeah.
gotta be 100% tomorrow, or maybe not 100%. You know, probably Elephant at
Getting
80%
there,
is pretty
getting there.
scary
Next
already.
time it's 85, time after that it's 90.
And
but
No, it has
major,
to-
hopefully
Yeah.
100. but
This has to be 100 because, okay, you do have 4 slots, but
Yeah.
Vici
They do, yeah.
Gaming, if they do take that game, they separate themselves from the rest, and the rest is pretty much Elephant, PSG, LGD, and D-Home. So,
we have seen in previous results from Elephant in previous tournaments as well that they are never strong in the group stage. And actually, sometimes even in the playoffs, they end up going down to the lower bracket, but they almost always have been taking these wins. That's a strange thing. They always seem to be coming out the wins. And in the grand finals, this team looks absolutely unstoppable. Like, they drop maybe one game in the grand finals at a push, but they are just so hot when they find their feet, when they keep on going. But this isn't the format where they can allow themselves to fall into that trap of being a little bit slow to start up. And that engine, as you say, really has to be going. And we have seen signs of them coming to life, but this is the series where we're going to basically know if Elephant have what it takes to make it into that major. I think they do, but we'll have to find out. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for that series. We'll, of course, be live at the same time as we were today. So check it out. And, of course, if you guys want to see some lovely high-definition Dota action, then you can head over to the YouTube stream and view everything in beautiful 4K definition. But us here at the Perfect World Studios are going to be saying goodbye. Thanks a ton for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Used to waking up in company, but I know you know we won't make it. Packing all my things and leave again. Yeah, I get lost in all I see. All that neon goes on till dawn, leading to an empty dream again. Yeah, facing nights in the morning, white lies are fading in. Waiting for a sign that takes me back to the beginning. No time for guilt or pleasure. You know I can't do that. I wish that I knew better, 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 better. Used to waking up in company, but I know you know we won't make it. Packing all my things and leave again. Yeah, I get lost in all I see. All that neon goes on till dawn, leading to an empty We tried to work this out before, but now I'm stronger.